Welcome back to another exciting literature class. Remember, in our last class, we did the introduction, the plot summary of Colossal Let Me Die Alone. Today's class, we're going to be looking at the themes and style in the play Let Me Die Alone. Behavioral objectives. At the end of the lesson, the learner should be able to identify the themes in the play and analyze the style used by John Carbo in the play. Now, John Carbo wrote this play for a reason. He wanted to send a message to the public. This message is called the themes. So what are the themes in this play? What is that message he wants to send out to the general public? Traditional society and civilization. The fact that there is always a tussle between the traditional society and civilization. It's not easy for a traditional society that has its own rules, values, traditions to actually quickly adapt to that of the white people, the white colonial masters. The Mende society had their own traditional values. They had a chief, they had laws, they had rules guiding all of them and the way they live. But the colonial masters, as represented by the governor in the play, is bringing a little bit of civilization where report whatever it is you're doing, whatever harvest you're getting, you have to end up reporting again to the colonial governor, which means you have a chief that is not actually your sole chief, because that chief cannot make certain decisions without consulting with the colonial governor. And that was why when Mami Yoko became the chief, she ensured that there was a form of relationship, a mutual relationship, a working relationship between the chiefdom, the Mende people, and the governor. So you see that there is always a tussle between the traditional society and adapting to civilization. Another theme is that of traditions and unfair demands on womanhood. The traditions in the Mende land believe that women should not do certain things. Women should not fight for certain things. Women cannot be seen in the court when issues are being discussed. They are told to go in and stay there. Women are not seen as people who can take political positions. They should remain in the house and take care of the children. And when the husbands come back, they should perform their duties. So you can see this in Yoko. Yoko had to relinquish her motherhood status. She wanted to be a mother, but she had to relinquish it just for the crown of leadership. She loved Geneva so much that she wanted to have her own child. But then she had to sacrifice her childbearing just to become the chief in Mandela. You can also see at the beginning when she was talking to King Banya. King Banya told her that he would not give her the throne as he had promised her, because Mende is in a state of chaos and they need a man that can right all the wrongs, meaning a woman cannot right all the wrongs. Can you imagine? Another theme is that of gender conflict. We can see the issues that prevail the female gender in the play. You can see that the women are just confined to traditional female roles, like I said earlier. All they do is cook, clean, take care of the children, and then perform their duties to their husbands. In spite of the fact that there have been successful women among the Mende people throughout recorded history. Despite all this, the Mende people still have this belief that women should not take political positions. Women should not do certain things. Remain there. We only use you when we want to use you. That was why Jilo felt neglected. She felt super neglected, and then she ended up cheating on Ndapi with Lansana. So that's one of the issues of gender conflict. Mami Yoko went through it all through because no one wanted her to rule. So there you have it. And then we have the theme of blackmail. The theme of blackmail, where we can see in the character of Musa. Musa did not want to kill King Banya. He didn't want to involve himself in such big work, something like that. But Lambo had something against him. And what was that? Lambo knew that Musa engaged in human sacrifices. He had already killed 2 people before. So that was Musa's secret. But Lambo also knew that secret. And Musa had no other choice but to tag along with Lambo's dubious plan. So that is the theme of Blackmail. Now, let's look at the style of writing that the playwrights use. How did Colossal Carbo write it? What are those unique things that made his play feel different from others? We have his language. Carbo uses superb use of the English language in Let Me Die Alone. His English language was spectacular. He also employs the use of rich proverbs. He used proverbs also to contextualize the play, to make us feel a little bit of Africanish in his use of proverbs. And then we have songs and dance. African plays normally use song and dance. So he uses he intersperses the different acts with songs and dances and pays particular attention to sound effects, the use of sound, onomatopoeia, alliteration, rhyme. These are sound effects. So he uses these things to actually connect us to Africa. The Sunday dancers too are of particular interest here because the Sunday dancers entertain. Their job is to entertain, welcome the chief and all that. But at the same time, their job is to also check and balance the powers of the rulers and the chiefs to ensure that no one is going above his power and no one is not performing his duties well. Now, comic relief, where you have a little bit of humor in between a tragic incident. Now, the book is tragedy itself. We've had 3 people dying so far. But in between this, we see the way Banya drags Yoko to bed, which stimulates some pleasurable interest. So while they were thinking of the premonition and the fact that he has dreamt of his father calling him back home, he drags her to bed. So everybody laughs at this, that, okay, yes, there's a little bit of comic relief in that situation. We also see the encounter between the guards, the chief guards, and the messenger from the colonial master, which it also underscores some comic relief. And then another style, we have symbols. The thunder that rumbles. The thunder that rumbles takes our attention back to consciousness, back to everything that is happening. Geneva too. Geneva is a symbol in that play. Geneva represents a shattered hope. She was a young girl who I had this strong belief that Yoko would have given her the throne. Yoko would have made her the successor to the throne of the Mende people, the chiefdom of the Mende people. But she represented a shattered hope for Yoko and a new order that was denied from sprouting. She would have grown up to be a new set of Mende people who might have had a little bit of experience to be able to understand and make certain decisions in the Mende land. But she was denied that by being killed by Musa and Lambo. We also have poison. That poison that was used to poison King Banya, and the poison that Madam Yoko took. It represents a tool for ending the reign of every leader in the play. So every leader either died by poisoning or was poisoned at some point in time. Banya died from poison by his trusted aides, while Yoko's death was by self-consumed poison. So I'm sure you understand. We also have another style, which is foreshadowing, seeing where future events, things that are going to happen in the future, are relayed to us. When Geneva is sent to call Lamboy and Musa for a meeting in the palace, Lamboy admires her and remarks that girls of her type stand to die in the hands of the enemies of Senegal. She's so innocent and all. This was in page 94. So this statement is foreshadowing that Geneva would eventually be abducted and her death to be so gruesome in the hands of the so-called enemies of Senegal, Musa and Lamboy, the same people that were admiring her. We also see that after Banya had that dream that his father was calling him back home, he felt that very soon he would die, something will happen to him. And then the fact that he sided John in his war against his brother George, he knew that something bad was going to happen eventually. And boom, the governor later came and was disappointed in Banya for siding a brother against his own brother. And he flogged Banya in public. He flogged him in public. And after that, he eventually poisoned him. The King Banya was eventually poisoned to death. Now, let's look at the figures of speech. Repetition. This heart that has loved you, this proud heart that has savored and enjoyed. I knew it. Where is Yoko? That is repetition in the play. Another figure of speech is simile. It's all wrinkled like the buttocks of an old woman. Yes, you loved her. It was like you rearing a sacrificial lamb. You were rearing a lamb that would soon be sacrificed. So that's the figure of speech in Kulosakarbo's Let Me Die Alone. Now, our usual evaluation. Examine the themes of suicide and vision and determination in the play. Number 2, examine the use of vernacular in the play. So we've come to the end of today's class where we analyze the themes and style of John Kulosakarbo's Let Me Die Alone. In our next class, we're going to be looking at the character analysis. So for now, this is me, your teacher, saying bye for now, and I'll see you in our next class. Bye.